So let's get some questions in here from our audience right now. Diane, you had a question that you wanted to ask Danielle about. What would you like to ask her?
Yes, I'm looking to open up the kitchen to the living room, dining room, just to have an open concept space. And we were thinking about also taking down an adjacent wall in the living room. Sorry, in the dining room. And, you know, I'm just looking for floor plan ideas and also furniture placement.
Okay, well, this is a good time to be chatting with our experts for sure. So you can talk to her about getting walls down, but also the all-important planning, the floor space. This is the great time to talk to a designer.
Absolutely, and I just need to do my due diligence and say that, of course, you're going to talk to an engineer, a structural engineer, because even with a bungalow, you're going to have roof loads that you're dealing with. So after you've dealt with that, what I notice about this layout is that the kitchen is quite confined by this wall. And so if you were, ideally, if you were able to take all of this out, you're going to get this huge social space. And here are a few photos that she gave me of the kitchen. Dining room and living room, how it's separate like that. And so when you remove those walls, if that's allowed, what you're going to come up with is this big open space, and you can treat it as one. And to me, it's really important to now look at all your windows and try to take that into account when you're placing your furniture. So what I would do is I would do a galley kitchen, because a lot of times if we do a U-shaped kitchen, that's going to shrink the size of that island, and a lot of chefs prefer a galley. And if you want this for entertaining, which that's what I understood, you want it to be as accessible as possible. You want that social hub to be as big as possible.
Right.
And the rest of it, I would work around the windows. The dining room gives you a great opportunity to center that dining table between those two windows, maybe put a big piece of art. And if you don't want to have that little closet jut there, you can still maximize your storage along this wall. And that way, you know, the whole space is one, it works as one, and you can put a fireplace on that exterior wall. And, you know, you're really just maximizing all of that space.
So what's intimidating about that is that you feel like I can see all of these things at once.
Right.
So there has to be some kind of continuity, either when it comes to your color or your patterns. How do you do that in a way that doesn't make the whole space look completely matchy-matchy, but you've got the space opened up? What do you suggest?
I actually visually, I create a board and I use all the pieces. I drag them onto my computer and all the pieces that I'm working with. And if they don't fit in two ways, either color or material or style, I can't use it.
Get rid of it.
Everything has to work, but you can bring in all sorts of different pieces without making
even
it.
if you're doing it with just pulling out pictures from magazines and you have fabric samples, I mean, you can also, if you're not comfortable doing it online, just get a piece of foam core, throw everything down there, throw some paint chips, put everything there, and you see it, and it's usually so obvious that no, this one doesn't fit.
That doesn't work.
You know? Where's Waldo?
Good.
So true.
Good advice. Get out to Eleanor now in the audience. Eleanor, you can ask Stacy your question now.
Thank you. My question is, how do I take my not-so-fabulous 1950s asymmetrical brick fireplace into this century?
I like that question. That's a good one.
So, Eleanor, I noticed that you have taken out a wall or some piece of trim between the family room or your living room and the dining room. That you can see in the crown molding, there's a little bit of a gap there. So, first of all, you'd want to fill that in. And I think it's great that that space is opened up to the dining room because it gives you a nice open feel and great for entertaining. I actually had a client project previously that was fairly similar layout to yours. I'll just show you the before of her house. So that was her existing fireplace, very similar to yours. And then here's what we ended up doing. And by just applying some paneling and creating a cabinetry panel around the fireplace, we've done a gas insert and really updated that. So in order to get that look, here's what we want to do. So we want to apply some moldings onto the wall, and that'll create the look of a paneled wall. It's very simple. I brought a sample of a molding, so you would just apply something like this directly onto your drywall. I would use a beefier profile just because of the scale of the space. But you want to do something like that and create paneling that outlines your furniture and also ties in with existing elements in your home. So for example, here we've done some smaller panels. We've mounted a sconce in the center of it, and so I've created that same profile on the other side and then balanced that out in the dining room with another one on the end, and then I've left this larger panel in the center, so that would be a great space for artwork, and you could center your buffet under that. So it really sort of ties in the living room and the dining room all together, and your fireplace becomes the focal point.
Beautiful. Is it ever too late to do that paneling? like I wish I did done it when we were renovating and I didn't, and now if I go back now and try and put some of that paneling up, is it very labor intensive?
It's not too late. So here's the thing, there's different ways to do the paneling. By just applying this onto the drywall, you essentially can leave your existing baseboard, you can leave your existing crown molding, you don't have to remove that. So you're really just applying this on almost like a picture frame, and then you paint it all out the same color. There are different ways of doing paneling, so you can do strapping that would actually require that you take off your baseboard and reapply it on top of the new paneling. But with this method, you're just really applying this onto the drywall and painting it all out. So it's very easy to do.
Okay, good. That gives me hope. Yes. Connie's got a question for Sharon. Hi, Connie. What would you like to ask her?
Thank you. Our family room has a gym area where we have some fitness equipment, and it's very conspicuous. Is there a way to make it a little more subtle?
I love your family room, first of all, and I love the fact that you've got workout equipment there. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, you can't watch TV without looking at that exercise equipment, knowing I gotta be
it's
doing
looking
this.
at her, threatening her every day, like, get on me. That's what I mean. So how do you, I'm interested to hear what your answer is going to be to this, because what do you do about that?
I thought there's a quick just paint solution, and then I think a paint and a bit of construction solution. But I thought if you took that back area, because right now it's funny because it's like the spotlights are on the exercise. It's like this little collection. It's like a gallery. But I thought that you could paint it, like I always tell people with a dark TV, to hide it, use a dark color.
Yeah.
So one thing you could do just as a quick fix is to use, I was thinking something like Sparrow. It still ties in nicely with your existing color combination, very warm, AF 720. So it's a warm, darker gray. And that'll just help to minimize the contrast between the light colored wall and the exercise equipment. But then I also thought with the darn corner fireplace, it might actually be a benefit having it there to kind of mirror the idea of the French doors that are going out to the deck, and put a set of French doors over here with a bit more of a ripple effect, maybe not frosted glass because you don't mind seeing it a little bit, but especially if you still do that dark color, you could close it in with nice rippled glass effects so that it just breaks up the image, and then you can still easily open. Make sure you open up in one that you can double open so that you have access to get those back out again. Because I mean, you could actually, she has enough room in there that they could work out in there and put a little TV. But sometimes if you want to be able to bring it out to large TV, then you can access it. So that would be a little bit more work, but I think that would just look seamless.
I thought you were going to tell her to paint out the exercise equipment. Just paint it all the same color as the wall, and no one's going to see it anymore. That's very
Just get rid of the exercise equipment.
Problem solved.